Thor was so exhausted that he began losing his mind and therefore talked to Loki, expressing that he wanted to rest and let his body be taken over by Donald Blake, who is a human created by Odin in order to give Thor a taste of the human experience while also letting him rest if he wanted to, which all happened by slamming a certain cane. And although Loki was against the idea, Thor ended up doing it anyways. However, for some reason, instead of resting, Thor lands in the world Donald Blake stays in when Thor is in control. Donald's world was absolute chaos, making Thor hella confused, while on the other hand, Donald was transported to the real world looking quite different, only for him to attack Loki and snap the cane. He was basically mad because he realized that he was just a toy put in a fake world created for the sole purpose of serving Odin and Thor. He therefore immediately went to Asgard to kill Odin and all Thors, but Bill, Sif, and Volstagg quickly pulled up on him, only for Bill to get his Thor enchantment ripped out of him. Meanwhile, Thor in Donald's world gets to meet Jormungand, who explains that this is all his fault because he tried to corrupt Donald and get his help to take down Odin. However, when Donald refused, Jormungand was pissed and therefore opened Donald's eyes as to how he's just an insignificant toy for Odin. And that's when Donald stole Jormungand's powers and realized that he had access to Odin's force, which was why he was so powerful. Meanwhile, Donald was shaving up to go and talk to Jean to see if she knew where Odin was, but she supposedly didn't. He then went out to find Throg and shoved him down his throat. However, Throg quickly came back and knocked Donald out, taking him to Strange, only for him to wake up and beat them all up to siphon Odin's magic from him. But Jane then showed up and made him go away because he didn't want to kill her. And while Donald went to get even more powerful by stealing the World Tree's power, Jane went to ask Odin to stop this madness. Odin explains that after making Thor the king of Asgard and having his wife leave him, he ended up becoming an alcoholic. Strange and the Asgardians then pulled up on Donald and he was ready to take them on, until an armored Odin showed up, revealing to him that his fake world was inside of that tree, meaning that all of the blood he spilled from it was going straight to Thor, who's in there, which made him so powerful that he transported his spirit into the destroyer armor. The armor threw Donald around until he pulled out Mjolnir out of his body, only for Bill to call it to his side and smack him with it. But when Odin was eventually ready to kill him, Loki pitied him and therefore fixed the cane and gave it to Thor, ultimately bringing him back and making him and Donald two separate beings. Thor then kicked Odin out of Asgard and struck Donald down, where Loki then locked him up with a snake that burned his eyes for eternity.